You spoke earlier on about the sort of recruitment the recruitment decisions you made in that summer of 2004, and looking back with the benefit of experience, you perhaps wish you'd maybe kept a little bit more of your experience group together. But that summer of 2005, it looked like the recruitment policy did become very much about experience, because in came the likes of Ian Jesse and Taylor, Sean Dyche, and they added to the likes of McLeish, Harper and Smith already at the club. So that 05-06 squad had a real bedrock of experience in it.
It did, it was very, very deliberate because of sort of a younger age frame as such within the squad the season before, and there was potential there. Luke Chambers and probably the beginning of Brad Johnson's career, though he actually didn't play so many times for myself at Northampton. But we'd recruited him from watching the youth team on a Saturday morning, and we'd seen him and knew he'd become available. So that was it. I thought and that was this summer. I can remember a picture getting taken for the paper or the website, and I think all the new signings were in it, and it's one that filled me with a lot of confidence about going forward. And I think Ian Taylor, Sean Dyche and Ian Jess were really fundamental about adding levels of quality, professionalism, and certainly the ability to win games as we went on through the season.
It became a very consistent team, no doubt down to the experience, but they found a way to win, even when perhaps not at their best. I think they kept a lot of clean sheets. Lee Harper that season kept a lot of clean sheets, and it was a side that knew how to win football matches.
It was, we had a good defensive record, but it wasn't set out to be a defensive minded team. It was set out to still have the three attackers in the team as much as possible, and probably even instead of having Josh Lowe in one of those attacking three positions, we tried to play him in the right of midfield, and we did play him in the right of midfield lots of occasions. So our record, it looks as if we're a good defensive team, but we were good because we were such an attacking threat in different ways. But we're definitely helped. The balance of the back three became better with Chambers, Doig and Crowe being able to play and right and left of the back three alongside Sean Dyche on the majority of the season. And that was fundamental to have good legs, good pace, and also the ability to compete aerially against lots and lots of teams. I think the starting point is your defensive record, or how hard you are to score against, and invariably we were on lots of occasions. But it's the ability not to get beat when, as you say, we didn't play as well as everyone would have liked.
I think the experience also showed in the running. I remember there was a night game away at Boston. I think Gavin Johnson scored in a 1-0 win, and that really was a launch pad to the end of the season, when the pressure was on and when things were up for grabs. This squad had the experience to handle the situation and went on a really strong run to seal promotion.
Yeah, that's right. We'd just come off the back of 2 defeats as well, and it was a midweek fixture away at Boston, which was difficult, and we were prior to the 2 defeats, we were sitting third. Then we ended up after those runs 5th. So it was important somehow to reignite the season and get back into the winning form. And it was a late goal by Gavin Johnson. As always with Steve Evans as manager, it was as competitive on the sideline as it was on the pitch. So I was doubly delighted in the way that we managed to get Gavin to score the winning goal in that game. And we gruffly shook hands at the end of it.
And I can imagine as the end of the season came into view, given your experience of the last 2 years, you were doubly determined to try and avoid the playoffs and the cruel endings they can bring. So it must have been some relief that afternoon against Chester at Sixfields, when even with our fans behind the goal, which is normally the away end, that goal from Scott McLeish secured promotion. Yeah,
it was... It's a long time since I'd been as nervous before a game as that day, actually. But harking back to that Boston game, that launched us in a run of where we won sort of 7 out of 9 games. And the game we drew at home to Rochdale, Ricky Lambert scored a 9 injury time penalty kick. We were 2-0 up, so we really should have seen that game out, and we got ourselves. But I think the way the playoffs had been for us, to feel we'd played so well in the first one especially, and not get through to the final, I was desperate not to be involved in the playoffs that year, and very, very important that final run in, leading up to the Chester game. But memorably for me are the away games at Peterborough, where we took a huge away following, and the away game at Oxford, where the following was probably even bigger. And there was the away performances that gave us the opportunity to win promotion at home, which was really a tremendous relief and very, very enjoyable.
This game didn't really matter too much in the context of the season because we'd already secured promotion, but the last game of the season at Grimsby, I always felt just gave a little insight into the professionalism within the squad, because our season was over, we'd got promotion, but Grimsby could still go up with a win. And I remember Grimsby being 1-0 up in injury time. I think some of the home fans thought the final whistle had gone and released some balloons, but we actually had a corner, and we scored from that corner to actually deny them promotion. And it was just an insight into, even though there was nothing on it for us, that side just did not want to lose.
No, I mean, I think we had sort of 70 feet that year, and that gets you in the right area for automatic promotion. Also, Martin Ling was, an ex-teammate at Swindon for me, and it was, they had to better or equal the result. So if we didn't get beat by Grimsby, I think that helped them get promotion as well. So it was, when we went 1 down, there was obviously a party atmosphere. We'd had it the week before, but in reality, you don't really enjoy anyone else's party unless you're really involved in it. And it's nice to finish a good season by not get. You don't want to finish it on a defeat. I was proud of them that they kept going towards the end of the game, and I must admit, I enjoyed equalising that day. Russell did get his revenge on me a couple of years later with Yeovil.
What might not be known as well is it in your backroom staff that season, a couple of, at the time, young coaches who have gone on to have fantastic careers. Obviously, the goalkeeping coach, Dave Watson, has gone on to work in the Premier League and with England. And also the fitness coach, Ryland Morgans, who has worked for Wales and Liverpool. They were both part of your backroom staff that season.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We still chat to all the boys, Dave Kerslake as well. And when you look at, we were all fairly young coaches at the time. John Dean was the experienced one, but Dave was probably the youngest. Ryland would have been very young and inexperienced, and Dave Kerslake. So they've all been in the Premier League. Dave and Ryland have been with international teams as Wales and England at major championships. So there's got to be something within both elements of the dressing rooms. The playing group got better through experience, either having experience or getting experience added to them. But for a team in a lower league to have 4 young people all under 35 or 40, obviously I think it helps because there's obviously good credentials there. And especially Dave and Ryland with their international experience. But Dave got promotion with Cardiff, won the League Cup final with Malky, and was in the Premier League and took a Premier League game. So there's obviously all of us have got some sort of capabilities to do the job right.
Just finally, Colin, how do you look back on your 2 3/4 years at Northampton Town? You've obviously been assistant manager in the Premier League and at some big clubs in the Championship, but when you look back now a few years on, how do you sort of recall your time at Northampton Town?
Well, Gareth, it's got to be very, very fond because I've probably become more associated with the team in the town because I've lived here for a number of years and probably I was at that time. So I've probably got more affinity to the club and the area than I had at that time, and obviously it still helps me get recognised in terms of being available for jobs, and the record will never go away. So I'm proud of it. Proud of certainly the three times getting into the playoffs in the first 2 years, I think, is credit to obviously everyone involved at the time. But to tip it off with automatic promotion, it sort of helped me get myself in contention to obviously leave Northampton at that time. But it's one of them that you don't really reflect too much, I must admit. But it does have an effect because, people know that you've done the job and you look as if you consistently can get a team to the right area of the table.